Hello, you guys. All right, we're going to do a couple of lessons today. And give you a moment to welcome you into the space. I am live streaming this right now to our potty training, EC, and regular Good Diaper Free page on Facebook. So, our groups and YouTube. And I believe this is going on Instagram now. And once that looks like it's going live, we're going to begin. So, how are you today? Good to see you all. I'm Andrea Olson with Go Diaper Free. And today we're going to just do a little bit of work around balance. And we're going to do a little bit of stuff around the potty and whether it's appropriate to play with it or not. And also, let's see what else. Oh, multitasking. That's going to be a really fun one. So I'll wait for everybody on Instagram to get on and we'll get started. Welcome. Go ahead and let me know where you're joining us from. I would love to see that. 180. This will be 182. Okay, so we're also going to post this to the podcast eventually. So I'm just getting all those ducks in a row. Cool. All right, welcome. Now, first things first. So if you do not have my book, I definitely want you to go ahead and get that. I'm going to reference it a little bit today. If you don't have it, it's definitely the best way to start. And secondly, if you're not following one of my accounts, like if you're watching us from, please be sure to follow. And let's begin. Looks like, yep, I'm online on Instagram. Hey, Instagram, everybody, let me know where you're joining us from and how old your baby is. And if you have any questions during this little lesson, let me know. I'm Andrea Olson with Go Diaper Free, and this is Potty Lesson Live. Today, we're going to go over 4 different things that I think are important and timely in your EC practice. Some of them will have to do with potty training as well. There's always some kind of crossover. So welcome. Yay. Glad to have you here. So the first thing I want to talk about. So, what do we do when our baby plays with the potty and won't sit on it? So, some people will put the potty completely away. Some people will just worry that everything's gone to, you know what, in a handbasket and freak out. Some people will just, let their child play with the potty, but be really uncertain about it. And the baby really picks up on that, or the toddler. So this could be for potty training or EC. What do we do in this situation? Are there any ways to make the best of baby playing with the potty? And can we actually turn this around to our benefit? So that's what we're going to talk about first today. The first thing I want to say about this is if the baby plays with the toilet, it's totally fine. The reason I say this is because some people in the potty training expert world will tell you not to leave the potty out, will tell you not to let your baby play with the potty, and will tell you that these are all signs of disaster. What I want to tell you is that when we're dealing with 0 to 18-month babies is simply not true. They haven't ingrained a pattern any which way with anything yet, and usually they're not very used to diapers. And with EC, we're trying to expose them to the potty, right? So with all that said, you can't really screw this up. So I just wanted you to know right offhand, like how many of you feel like you're screwing this up every day? Maybe there's something today that you feel like you've totally screwed up and all is lost. I have to tell you from the perspective of 5 babies and also helping hundreds of thousands of other babies through their parents that this is not the case. You cannot screw it up. One little tiny thing is not going to screw everything up. And even if things have gone totally off track, I can completely help you with that. If you haven't seen my Getting Back on Track mini course or my Getting Back on Track podcast, definitely look at that if that's you. All right, so back to the topic at hand. If baby plays with the potty and doesn't sit on it, what do we do? Well, the first thing we could do is make sure that we're using the right receptacle. So if they're not using the potty actually for going to the bathroom and you know they need to go, which is a separate issue from I have no idea when they need to go and they won't go on the potty because I don't know what I'm doing, that's different. If it's just a receptacle, then we want to change that. Pretty simple, right? So if they're resisting or not using the mini potty, then we want to start using the big toilet, and we want to use the big toilet with a toilet seat reducer on it. So what that looks like is just stop using the mini potty, put it away. You can even put it in the cabinet and start using a reducer like the Ginsey reducer. The Ginsey reducer is the one that I like the most. It's got characters on it. It's got good handles. It's got a really high splash guard. It's only like $11 US. You really can't go wrong. So what you want to do is start using that instead of the mini potty if the mini potty is causing massive issues. The second thing is you want to let your baby play with the potty. So I know this sounds weird, but babies play with everything. That's their developmental task. I am a baby. I play with everything. In fact, I put everything in my mouth up to a certain age. I grasp everything. I'm constantly learning from my environment. So we don't really want to impede that. We want to allow them to play with their environment in a way that's, got boundaries, that's got good sort of balance to it, if that makes sense. So what we want to do is allow them to play with it as long as we're not getting pee and poop everywhere. Obviously, if that happens, we want to change some things, and we'll talk about that in a second. The next thing we want to do is give them structured time to play with their potty. So if you have, where is my mini potty? Oh, here it is. Let me grab it for you guys. If you're just listening to this, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but I have the mini potty from Tiny Undies here. And this is a super short potty that is meant to be used by anywhere from, like, once they have net control, you can hold a newborn baby over it. But usually when they have net control, around 8 weeks old, you can hold them onto it. When they're sitting independently, especially at 6 months, great. And all the way up to maybe a small 2-year-old can use this potty. And also older kids, heck, I even use it, to be honest. Sometimes we're on a road trip. I will whip out this mini potty and use it myself if we don't have a clean place to stop and go to the bathroom. Just admitting it. Maybe you're one of those as well. But anyway, this mini potty is really good because it's the size that they need to be able to sit independently, and that's going to help unblock anything. So if you don't have one of these, you can get it at tinyundies.com or Amazon today. Now, with this, what we want to do is help them practice dumping the potty outside with water in it. I discovered this accidentally with Twyla one day. My youngest, she was playing with a bucket of water and pouring it into the potty and then dumping the potty. And then another day, the potty was full of rainwater outside because we have them everywhere. And she was practicing dumping it, and she sort of dumps it towards herself. So I was helping her learn how to dump it away from herself. So I want you guys to give your baby constructive time to play with the potty the way it was intended to use. So if they're not going pee on it, instead of that, we're going to have them practice, like, what is a real life application with this object? What is it really for? We're not going to fill it with, like, I don't know of a good example, but we're not going to, like, put a bunch of Play-Doh in it and make things in the potty. We're not going to use it for something it's not intended for. If they're playing with it, they're exploring it, they're getting to know it. And the best thing we can do is to give them a real life application, because that's what they deserve. They're, like, actually trying to figure out how this thing works. So we want to fill it with water, do this outside, somewhere where it's okay for them to dump it all over the place, and let them practice pouring it into something, maybe a 5-gallon bucket. So it looks like they're practicing pouring it into the toilet, and to say, oh, are you pouring the pee-pee into that? And if while doing this, weather appropriate, they're outside without pants on, guess what? You can have them just practicing with the water, and they might even sit on it and use it for what it's intended for. So do you follow my line of thought here? That's a way to play with the potty in a way that actually teaches something. So we can do that as well. Another thing I want to say is you can keep the potty in the living space. I know a lot of potty training experts say you shouldn't, and I am an EC expert, and I say you should, because it should be convenient. And remember that anytime a baby reaches over for that potty, it could possibly be a signal. If it's not totally new and they've been around this potty their whole life, if they crawl over to it or walk over to it and touch it, it might be a signal that they need to go. So you can say, hey, all right, let's sit down on it. And put it up against their calves, have them sit. And that's a way to really teach them during the moment of, this is actually probably a signal. When they go to the potty and touch it, when they go to the big toilet and touch it, when they go to the door and bang on it to go outside, those are all signals as our babies become more mobile that they need to go to the bathroom, and we can take advantage of that. All right. The next thing I want to say about this, when the baby plays with the potty and won't sit on it, like they don't use it for what it's intended for, we want to move it to the bathroom if it's an issue. So if this is causing a problem and you're just like, all your intuition is firing, saying, no, 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 this does not feel right, this is not being used appropriately, then maybe we need to move it into the bathroom so that we know and they know and everybody knows that this is a potty. This is for pee and poop. Okay. So we'll move it into the bathroom and just keep it there. The reason I say to keep it in your living space is because it's also an opportunity to share signals about, hey, I need to go. And it's convenient, especially if your bathroom's on another level of your house, you're going to want to have a mini potty in your space. But if it's a problem, it's a problem. So move it. And then I want you to really only put them on the potty when you know they need to go. And I know a lot of you struggle with this. If you have my book, go through it from the very beginning. It starts with a how-to and learn exactly when your baby needs to go. Those are the 4 roads to potty time: baby signals or pee-pee dance, which is usually fussiness or crying; baby's natural timing, which you can do by logging it. I have a new app called The Log, and it's a potty timer and an app where you can do observation right on your phone, Android or iPhone. You can go to godiaperfree.com/app for that. It's brand new. You can figure out their natural timing. You can do transition times anytime before and after getting into something they're going to be in for a while, so they'll be more comfortable. And you can do at every diaper change, at every poop, every wake up. There are things there. I call them trigger times. Lately, it's like, when this thing happens, I'm going to take my baby to the potty. Now, what I want you to do is try to only use that potty, only set them on the potty when it is actually time to go. And if they're just not wanting to sit, I have a whole podcast on won't sit. Just look that up on my blog. If they just don't want to sit, then it's time to move to the big toilet, because they are very aware very early on that you go to the big toilet and they don't. And sometimes it's a matter of, hey, I just feel like this is a toy and I just want to go on the big toilet. Keep your mini potty and keep it in the minivan or the car or whatever, because you're going to need it on outings if you don't use it at home. All right. And then the last thing I want to say about this is, we've talked about practice. We're talking about all these things. When they do signal, we want to, if we're not using the mini potty, it's okay. If they signal or it's time for them to go to the potty, there was a whole study done on this particular phenomenon where you're training them by bringing them over to the mini potty, having them touch it. And then if you sit them on it and they go in it, great, that's the whole cycle. If you have them go over there and touch it, then bring them to the big toilet and they go to the potty, they're going to associate that mini potty with the going to the bathroom thing. So I'll try to post a link to that as well, that will show you this study so you can kind of see how some people train by touch. So super interesting, right? Like you never know what you can do with a mini potty. The most important thing I can leave you with today on this particular topic is to do practice time with it in a way that models exactly how they would actually be using it in real life, because that's going to be the most valuable. And if it's a problem, it's a problem. And if it's time to change receptacles, great. You bought this potty, it cost you X amount of money. It's not a waste. We're going to use it on outings. When you arrive somewhere, potty them in the mini potty, take them in the place, take them out of the place, potty them in the mini potty, just keep it in your car. So nothing is lost. So that is all I have to say about what to do when baby plays with the potty and won't sit on it, won't use it. They're just playing with it. They just think it's a toy. It all feels like it's lost. There are some solutions for you. I hope this was helpful. All right. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is we're doing 4 different lessons today. And if you found that helpful, just put a little heart in the comments there. So it's hard to find the right balance. That's what we're going to talk about next. So I don't know about you, but some of us have a hard time finding balance with everything as a new parent. If that's you, raise your hand if you're not driving. This is something that's really, really common. You're especially first-time moms and dads. It's really hard to find a balance between all the things that are expected of you. And clearly you want your baby to have the best start possible, right? You want your baby to be like just firing on all cylinders, just like super healthy, vibrant, sovereign, really just amazingly vibrant with everything in life. We want the best for our babies, but it's really hard to do everything ourselves. It is actually impossible. So the first thing I want to talk about when it's hard to find the right balance with EC and all the things with being a new mom or dad. And I do include you guys, you dads, but like you're about 5% of the audience. So mostly I'm talking to moms, but if you're a dad listening, you also might have a hard time finding the right balance with EC, because here's the thing. We weren't just taught this as an intact culture. It wasn't passed down to us generationally. We literally have to learn this new from people like me, other families that are doing EC. We need to find guides and learn from them. Which reminds me, we have a network of coaches. Just go to godiaperfree.com and click on, I think it's under resources, find a coach. And you can find somebody in your local area who can help you with EC. And they have groups where we meet up all the time and help each other with EC. And if you don't have that, you can become a coach. But back to the point here is finding the right balance is very hard. And what I want you to do, here's the best advice I could give you for this, is just to simplify your EC practice right here and right now. I want you to acknowledge and know that you cannot be perfect as a new parent. You can't be perfect in anything in life. Clearly, that's not the point of life. But you especially cannot be perfect in EC and in parenting. And in fact, if you try to be perfect, it will backfire on you and you will feel like, Andrea, I can't find the right balance. I am literally out of balance. So that's a great clue that we need to let go a little bit. We need to remember that this is all learning. So EC is just a feedback loop, just like feeding, just like sleeping. It's just you responding to your baby's needs, what you know that they need that you've researched on, or what they're telling you that they need in the moment. We are providing what they need, and they're providing us with signals and body language and other things, and even intuitive feelings that they're transmitting to us through the ethers. We can get that woo woo with it. There is a connection happening. It is two directions and it is all learning. So if you have a miss, if you have a misguess, if you have a catch, all it is learning. It's just input and you're going to apply it to what you already know and you're going to adjust your game. This is with sleeping. This is with feeding. This is with EC. It's all learning. What I want you to do is just simplify things by choosing one or two of the easy catches. So poops, wake ups, diaper changes, or transitions, before and after, car seat, high chair, whatever it is, bath. What I want you to do is pick one or two of those four easy catches, even if you've been trying everything, natural timing signals, all the things. And I want you to just simplify just for a couple of weeks. Commit with me right now, pinky promise, I'm going to simplify. I'm going to simplify and then do it. When you simplify, you're going to find a better balance. Probably what you're doing right now is too much. You're trying too hard. And we want to reel that in, rein that in, and just focus on a couple things. The other thing I want to say is if you're feeling a little out of balance with EC or potty training for that matter, I want you to focus on connection with your child, not on EC, not on the potty, not on potty training. We still have a diffuse awareness, especially we women. We have this very special talent. Men are a little more single focused because of the hunting aspect of them, and we're gatherers. We are more able to have a diffuse awareness about things that are going on while also doing other things. So we're multitaskers. We want to focus on connection with our baby instead of focusing on EC. That flips the script and helps simplify things as well, brings things back into balance. And the other thing I can say is please stop counting how many catches and how many misses you've had today. If that is you, raise your hand. If you count your miss to catch rate, you are going to feel completely defeated at times and it is not going to be good. Just let that go. There's nobody keeping track except for yourself. So if you stop, that takes all the pressure off. So I want you to really think about that today. Next thing I want you to do if you're having a hard time finding balance with EC is to find support. So in my book, it comes with our community forum that is run by the coaches that I've personally hand trained. I have trained them and they are serving our communities who own the book on our private off Facebook network. What I want you to do is if you're feeling out of balance is to go there. And I've trained them in how to counsel you guys on mindset. Mindset is so important during EC and potty training. So go get support there if you have my book. And if you don't have my book, definitely go get it. It comes with lifetime support at this moment. And then I really want you to zoom out go back to the whole big picture. You are raising a human. You have been gifted this human by God, the universe, creator, whatever you want to call it. And this human is in your care. And it is not only a peeing and pooping machine. And I say that kind of funny, but at times I felt like that with my kids. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so focused on EC that I'm missing the big picture. We want to zoom out and treat EC just like we treat feeding, just like we treat sleeping, just like we treat keeping our babies warm. It is just literally another part of the whole process. All right. And here's the last thing I want to talk to you about with it's hard to find the right balance with EC and potty training. If it feels like too much, then it is. Take it from me, 5 kids later. If it feels like I'm taking on too much, or this is just too, like I'm doing too many things, or EC, the way I'm doing it right now is just too much, that means it is. So it's time to simplify, time to go back to that 1 or 2 easy catches, and time to really just ground into the connection with the baby. So hopefully that was helpful in helping you guys find the right balance with EC and potty training. If that was helpful, put a little heart in the comments. I'm going to open these blinds. Let there be light. Okay. Now we have 2 more lessons in today's live. All right. Are you ready for this? Let me just check out my Instagrammers real quick. Hello, Instagrammers. Okay. Looks like you guys are all good too. Now the second to last thing I want to cover today. So this is an interesting one. Now I want to talk about multitasking while doing EC with one of your children or your only child. So how do we multitask, specifically chores with EC? So in my situation with my 5 children, I've always been the one who's had to do the chores. I've always been the one who's had to cook, clean, homeschool, run my business too. Like I literally have been wearing a million hats. So I'm probably the best person you could ever learn multitasking from. I would say from having 5 kids, I've incrementally gotten more and more organized over time and more of a routine with my children and with the way that I structure my days and my weeks. So one piece of advice I'd have for you here is how do we get all the house chores done and multitask and do all the things that need to be done as a housewife, a homemaker, a stay-at-home dad, whoever you are, and integrate EC with that. How do we maintain all of the things? So after having so many kids, I've definitely gotten more organized, and I encourage you to just pretend like you have that many kids as well. And it's amazing how you just get your you know what together. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about with this is creating. So if you only have one child, which by the way is harder than having 5 in my opinion. 1 is hard, 2 is harder, 3 is just like mind-blowingly hard. And then 4 and 5 for me and most women I know who have multiple children, like 10, 12 children even, are like, yeah, at the 4th child, it just got easier. So you need to artificially, if you only have one child, create a rhythm to your day. So we're going to, and I highly recommend doing this around nap times, bedtime, so sleep times. Schedule those in. If you don't have like a brand new newborn who needs responsive parenting and it's kind of more on demand. But even then, know their rhythm and then just kind of make a little timeline for yourself. And then feedings or meals. So we want to have a rhythm to the day that will allow other things to be fit in around the baby's rhythm. So I was very adamant against scheduling anything in the very beginning with my first baby. With my second one, I started to have a bedtime. I started to have a nap time. I started to have, hey, snacks are at 10 and 2. Breakfast is at 8. Lunch is at noon. Dinner is at 5. Bedtime starts at 7, in bed, sleep by 8. So you start to get more organized. So I invite you to create a rhythm to your day if you're not in that brand new newborn phase, which I totally get it. There's a lot of responsive parenting that has to happen in that stage. Great. And then to your weeks as well. So we want to schedule in our chores. I used to do 1 load of laundry every other day. Now that I have 5 children, we do laundry every single day. Just 1 load a day helps us keep on top of it. And we don't just leave it in a basket when it's time to fold it. We actually take the time to fold it and then put it away. So there is a method to chores that a lot of people, well, here's the first thing. If you declutter and you don't have a lot of things, then you don't have as many chores. So first and foremost, I highly encourage you to look up minimalism and decluttering on YouTube and try to figure out how to do that in your house. It will change the whole game. So if you have less stuff, there's less chores to do. And that includes kitchen stuff. Like you have duplicates of things, you're going to have to wash dishes more often. Better to have less. The other thing is we want to schedule our chores in on a weekly basis as well. So maybe 1 day a week you have dedicated to doing the floors. 1 day a week you have dedicated to doing the toilets. 1 day a week you have dedicated to doing some other smaller bite-sized thing instead of trying to tackle the whole house at once. So that's definitely something that I've done in the past when I was doing all the chores by myself. How to integrate this with EC, you want to use a backup. So when you are multitasking and doing chores, maybe in your day you schedule in baby time, like I'm just playing with baby at this time, or I'm going to wear the baby and go on a walk. Oh my gosh, exercise is so important, you guys. There are so many things that we can do with our babies and keep ourselves healthy as a new mom or dad. But when we're doing the chores, when we know, okay, this block is dedicated to I am cleaning toilets right now, We want to put our baby in a backup so that we aren't stressed out about a miss. If you have them naked on the floor or naked on a towel or whatever, and they roll off of it and they pee all over the place, oh, you just made another chore for yourself. This is a bad idea. With EC, it is totally fine to use a diaper as a backup. It is fine to use tiny trainers with a pull-up cover over top of it. I have some cloth pull-up covers that I sell at Tiny Andy's. You can do that kind of a backup if you don't want to do a diaper. Have them in something. You're going to get a louder signal from them usually, and you're also going to have cleaner floors and less chores that add up while you're trying to do the other chores. So that's definitely important, and there's no shame in that. There's literally nobody watching except for yourself, and if you're judging yourself that hard, then we need to reset that. We need to recalibrate that because you deserve to not have judgment in your life like that. Now, I do want you to simplify your practice. I've said this so many times before. If you are multitasking house chores with EC and you are finding it is overwhelming, that means that you either need to shrink down the number of chores you're doing or you need to shrink down the amount of EC you're doing. So simplify back to the 4 easy catches. Maybe we're just doing poops and wake ups for this morning. Maybe every morning we only do poops and wake ups. Maybe we only do diaper changes for a couple of days. Whatever it is, pick something and stick with it. 1 to 2 of the easy catches is a really good way to simplify your EC practice. The other thing I want you to do is while you're doing this multitasking, your house chores or whatever it is, you can set a timer. So if you know your baby's natural timing, oh yeah, they go about every 20 minutes right now. Wonderful. Set a timer for that. If you don't know your baby's natural timing, you can use my app. It's brand new. It's called The Log. You can find it on godiaperfree.com/app, and you will be able to learn your baby's natural timing, the intervals at which they go, just with a touch of a button, and start to track that. And then in the app itself, you can set a potty timer so that you can actually get a push notification from your phone that says time to potty based on your data that you found. So setting a timer during chores is a really good idea because I personally get really I get time warped when I'm doing chores, and it's really hard to keep track of baby's timing at that time. And I used to just look at the clock and be like, okay, add 20 minutes and then look at it, and then I'd forget. Now, the next thing that might help you is if you can baby wear during your chores. So put on your Ergo, put on your Moby Wrap, put on your Katan, whatever it is, and put your baby in it and do your chores. You can have your baby on your back if they're big enough or if you have the right wrap. Mai Tais are really wonderful. A very long rebozo, you can wear baby on your back as very, very early ages. Find a baby carrier that works for you and doesn't hurt your back and do your chores with baby on your back. The cool thing about this is that baby's going to signal really strongly when they want to go potty. And you also want to potty them beforehand, then put them in so that maybe they'll fall asleep and then you'll get a lot more chores done with them on you. And then during nap time or even at bedtime, set a bedtime. It's a very healthy thing to set an actual time when, hey, this is when we're going to go to sleep tonight. This is when I'm going to start your bedtime. Based on when they naturally get tired anyway. But these would be really good times to do chores. I know that that's also an important time for you to rest as a new mom, but it's also a good time to get in maybe one chore that might take 5 or 10 minutes. And then the last thing I want to say is if you are financially able to, get help. You can hire a nanny to help hold your baby so you can do chores. You can hire a nanny or a personal assistant to help you do the chores while you hold your baby. You can tag team between each other. I think that's a really important thing. A lot of churches offer as a ministry a preschool that's like a mom's day out. So you have a little bit of time for you and for your house stuff to get done. And without the guilt, like they're being cared for by a very loving community. So you can check that, and they're really usually very low cost. It's amazing. The ones in my town are just amazing. Now, you can also, if you have the resources, get a house cleaner. I was very resistant to this. I thought it was such a luxury. I thought it was very vain to have a house cleaner. I have not cleaned. Okay, I cleaned a toilet a couple weeks ago because it got clogged, and I'm a single mom. Like I had to do it myself. But and it was like literally the first time I'd cleaned a toilet in 3 years. And I know that sounds fancy and that sounds wonderful, but we started having a house cleaner here when I was still married before it was comfortable, before I felt like we could afford it. And it literally changed everything. I had so much more time to be with my kids. And to be honest, if you have enough money or you can fiddle with your budget just a little bit to get a house cleaner, even just once a month or every other week, we have one come in every single week now. The peace and centeredness I get and the joy from having a clean house one day a week, even if it's just for 5 minutes, is worth every penny that I spend on this beautiful house cleaning service. So if you can do that, it could literally change everything. Get over the guilt right now. It is so helpful if you have the resources to do that. And again, your baby's going to grow so fast. Your baby is growing so fast. So any time missed because you're like doing a bunch of chores that you'd rather not be doing, and you're not connecting with your baby, but you have the resource to do it. Awesome. Or maybe this is a goal that you can set for yourself. Hey, Hubs, we're gonna get on this. We're gonna figure out no more Starbucks. We're gonna get a French press at home and just make our own coffee. Little espresso machine, make our own coffee, and that money is going to go to house cleaning once a month, so that I can have peace of mind and be with my baby more, because that is what they need right now. And then the other thing is, there are fluff and fold services. There are laundry services. If you have a laundry issue, you know who you are. If you've got laundry piled up so high and your whole, like, you're just, every time you need clothes for anyone in the family, you're going to the laundry room and picking it out. If that is you and you're buried under a pile of laundry, you can totally gather all that up, give it to a laundry service. They will fluff and fold it for you if you have the resources for that. And in my area, care.com has a lot of personal assistants. I found my personal assistant that I just got a couple of weeks ago. Because I am divorced and because I was feeling very overwhelmed and because I have the resources, thank God, to be able to do this. I have somebody working with me a few hours a week, and she's like picking up groceries. I literally, if it's nap time, I cannot leave to go get groceries. There are people, I found her on Craigslist. There are people who really want to do this kind of work. She's an artist. Like, she really needs the extra work. She's highly organized. She solves these problems that I'm having as a single mom. So those of you single moms out there who are listening, who have some kind of resource for that, what if there's a family member? If you don't ask for help, you're never going to give somebody the gift of being able to be of service to you. And we human beings want to be of service to each other. We want to feel useful. Like, I love it when I feel used, not used in a bad way, but like I am useful and used and I'm of service and I've helped somebody. That fills me up. Well, guess what? Most people are like that. So if you ask somebody, hey, stepmom, could you please come over 2 hours a week just so I can get some chores done, or just so I can take a nap? That your stepmom might love to do that. So please, please, please ask. I hope that these practical tips have been very helpful for you. Multitasking house chores with EC. Remember to use a backup when you're doing the chores. Try to baby wear. Try to do something that helps you not be stressed out about EC, so you could also get all the homemaking things done. And I promise you, you will find a balance with it. Being a new mom is very hard. I've been there 5 times, but especially the first time, like, you literally forget how to do everything, including cook. So this is a wonderful opportunity to recreate your life and to go, okay, which parts do I want to do myself? Which parts do I want to do with baby? Which parts do I want to do when baby's asleep? I highly recommend a rhythm and routine to your day and your weeks. Get organized, pretend like you have 5 kids like I do, and you will be able to get a little bit better every single day. And before you know it, you're going to have some spare time to even take care of yourself, which we'll talk about soon as well. So that's all I have to say about that, how to balance EC with also your homemaking duties. Now, the last one, I told you we're going to have 4 lessons today. And I'll thank you for the compliments over on YouTube. I definitely. Right. Okay. Where can I send questions to your email? Andrea@godiaperfree.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at godiaperfree, or DM me over at Facebook. Yeah. Go Diaper Free everywhere. Okay. So now let's get on to the 4th and final lesson for today. We're going to talk about being potty centered. Now, I know I've talked about this before. I've talked about being potty centered before in different ways, but today I want to talk about it specifically with one person's comment that they sent me recently. This person has a problem with having focus to be 100% eyes on at all times because baby doesn't signal. I go by natural timing and easy catches only. Exhausting. This is so exhausting for me. I must pay attention 100% of the time, but I'll be a better mom because I'm doing this 100% of the time. Now, she also adds that I want me time too. I want time for me too. And this just kind of breaks my heart. So I really wanted to share about this one as this particular lesson and topic today. So it is absolutely a myth, you guys, that you have to be 100% eyes on your baby for potty all the time. Okay, so I cannot stress this enough. I know when you're just starting out EC or when you're doing potty training, you think you have to be 100% perfect, but you are going to fail if that is your expectation. You can only ebb and flow. You can only learn and grow. There is literally no way to be perfect, so stop trying. Now, the reason I say that is because if we think everything has to be 100%, we're trying to do potty and feeding and sleeping and all the things, there is no way we're going to succeed. Like we're literally setting ourselves up for failure. So I need you to have some grace and some real serious compassion for yourself. How about just as much as you have for that adorable little baby who's watching you do all your homemaking stuff and watching you brush your teeth in the morning, and they're watching everything you do. Do we want to teach our babies that we have to be 100% on all the time? No. The second thing I want to say about this is that if you are focused on your baby's potty stuff or anything with your baby 100% of the time, you're going to drive them nuts and they're going to start resisting, and they really don't want that. So one thing that really stood out for me when I read this person's struggle and this question is the continuum concept. I need to take a quick drink. Demonstration of self-care right there. Okay. So the continuum concept, how many of you have read that book? If you have not, please order it today. It is about this woman's experience living, Jean Liedloff's experience living with Stone Age Indians for quite some time. And those babies there, just observing them, were never the center of attention because that's not developmentally appropriate for them. They are here to learn. They're here for many reasons. They're here for love. They're here for everything that we're here for. But in this developmental stage, they are watching us like an eagle, like a hawk. They want to see what it's like to be a grown-up human in the culture and the community that you live in, because they're learning the ropes right now. And a lot of this happens from observation, putting things in their mouth, observing, looking, seeing, hearing, feeling, touching. So when you read the continuum concept, you will see that babies will actually start to have behavioral issues and be really fussy if we're 100% eyes on at all times. So this woman who wrote this, my heart goes out to you, and I just want to bring the bar down, honey. You do not have to do all of this. You do not have to be 100% eyes on at all times. And in fact, this is I'd say number one or number two, between this and privacy, the number one cause of potty pauses. Okay, so you're basically setting yourself up for potty pauses. Now, I hear that you're also just being vigilant. So maybe you're not 100% like staring at your baby waiting for signals all the time because baby doesn't signal. But natural timing and easy catches for you, if your baby's going like 10, 15 minutes, every 10, 15 minutes or every 20 minutes even, I want you to just simplify. Okay. Go for every other catch. Okay. So stop trying to get every catch. Even with my first baby, Andrea Olson, perfect ECer that you might think I am, I did every other pee. So he would literally pee in his diaper, and then that would cause a really strong signal for the second pee, and I would catch the second pee in the potty. And that's how we did it. And he was out of diapers at 9.5 months. It was fantastic. The other thing is, if you're doing easy catches, please don't try to do all of them, especially transition times. You're going to be pottying your baby all day long and driving them nuts. So we have a backup for a reason. It's there for when we're learning. Choose the backup that gives the best signals, the lowest stress for you, and the most dryness possible. But also use that as a tool for when you're not on all the time, because you can't be 100% on all the time. Like I do EC full time with a full-time awareness, but I'm not catching all of them. That's never how it's been for me. I definitely want to catch all the poops, but I definitely am not trying to catch all the pees. You're right. It is exhausting. So rein it back in and try to just do one or two of the easy catches, and then know your baby's natural timing. And if you happen to get a little fussiness around that time, take them. Let them go once in their diaper, then take them the next time. So try to find some kind of balance. I feel like that's just the theme of today, is the balance. And the thing that you're also telling yourself that's probably messing things up a little bit, messing up the connection. You're telling yourself that you'll be a better mom because you are paying attention 100% eyes on all the time. You are actually not. You're being a worse mom. The reason is because you're exhausting yourself, and babies need us to be refreshed and revitalized and taking care of ourselves. And remember, they're also watching us and saying, oh, I'm going to do what you do when I'm a grown-up. So if they see us completely sacrificing and being a martyr for their well-being, then that's what they're going to get. And in their lives, they're not going to be focused on self-care either. And it's like on the airplane, you know how they say, put your mask on, and not that kind of mask, but put your oxygen mask on before other people, because if yours isn't on, how are you going to help somebody else? You're going to be passed out on the ground with no oxygen, and then your kid won't have theirs on because you haven't taken care of yourself. We always want to take care of ourselves first. You say at the end of your thing, I want time for me too. You deserve time for you. All right, so here's where we call in the support. We say, even one day a week, Mom, will you please come over for 1 hour so I can go get a mani-pedi, so I can go get my hair done, so I can just stare at the wall without having to hold anybody, so I can go to the bathroom by myself, so I can take a nap. Whatever it is, whatever little bit you can get. And if you have a partner, a husband, wife, whatever, this is time to have a serious heart to heart and say, look, this is super hard for me. Being a new mom is super hard for me, and I really need support. I actually, and not can I, may I please have permission for this, but in order for me to reign in this family as the queen who I am, and this mother, Hera, Hestia, do all the things, and Hera is like the goddess of motherhood, and Hestia is the goddess of the hearth. Like, in order for me to fully be in what I was created to be, I need more support. I literally have not gotten a shower in 4 days. I would love to every morning get up at 7. You get up with the baby, I get up and take a shower. Will you agree to that? So, this is a way to assert your needs and to ask for what you actually need. When I just read this, 100% eyes on all the time, exhausting, must pay attention. I'll be a better mom because I'm on it all the time. I really want time for me too. What I hear in your message, Mama, is that you aren't happy with how this is. It's draining you. And your baby is actually being done a disservice by the choices you're making. Now, like Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. So take all this information, and everybody else who's listening, please take all this information and make some changes to your life so that you're not that frazzled, worn out mom, that your baby really can't fully connect with because you're disconnected from yourself. So, self-care 101. I want you to remember that pottying 24/7 is not the goal. I want you to set a timer for those times that you are going to take your baby so that the other times you can just tune out and totally be present with your baby. I want you to pick one or two of the easy catches and just do that for a couple of weeks. And I want you to schedule in self-care as if it is your job, because it technically is. And I want you to know that your baby needs to see you living a grown-up life and doing your thing and watching you. Like somebody is saying, my 7-month-old loves to watch me and be a part of my homemaking tasks. This is literally all they want. It's very simple with babies. We don't need to entertain them. What we need is to bring them along for the ride and let them see us, what it's like to be a really healthy individual who's taking care of herself and has wonderful boundaries and a ton of self-love, because that's going to teach them how to love themselves. And I literally think that's the most important thing. So grab yourself a copy of the Continuum concept and enjoy that. And I hope that this has helped you to understand that you can't and should not be 100% eyes on all the time with EC, and you can and should be practicing self-care every single day. Even if it's only 5 minutes, do one sun salutation for yoga, and that is it. That is better than nothing. All right, hopefully that was helpful for you. If that was helpful for you, give it a heart in the comments. I do have a couple of questions that have come up. My 4 lessons are over. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Andrea Olson with Go Diaper Free. Follow me everywhere at the Go Diaper Free sign. And let's see, we've got a couple of questions from YouTube. Can babies have only one signal? Whenever my baby toots, that's her signal, her signing to me that she has to go to the bathroom, but that's the only way she signals to me. Hey, I'd take it. Or am I missing more signs she is doing? Yeah, maybe, but here's the thing, like, use what works. If all you get is a fart and that's your signal, great, use it and celebrate that. This is great. And especially because your name on YouTube is Stinky Toots Haha, which your kid set up. I think it's perfect. And then Joy wants to know, any tips for ECing a toddler and transitioning to a floor bed? I've definitely done that with one of my kids. Is it too early to do wrap up with a 15-month-old if you're little and can't pull pants up or dress themselves or climb potty steps? Absolutely. I've wrapped up. My 2 girls were completely done by 15 months. You just have to, it's almost like spotting, like you're going rock climbing with somebody and you're like making sure that they don't fall. If you've done rock climbing, you know what I mean. If you haven't, you're like, what are you talking about? But you're like spotting your child until they can do it themselves. So there are parts that you are not going to be able to do. If you don't have them, I have some way over there in my office, but the Learn undies with the bear on them, it has self-dressing cues on it. And I'm actually going to grab them so I can show them to you. There they are. I found them. Okay. Ouch. Oh, just hit myself in the knee. Here are the Learn undies. Does anybody have these? Put a little thumbs up in the comment if you have these. So this, basically you put it on the ground. So Bear's looking at me, grab the orange handles, 1 foot through blue and 1 foot through gray. These teach self-dressing, pulling up pants, dressing themselves. Even like after they do this and put on the undies correctly, they can put on their pants. It just magically teaches them how to put 1 foot in each hole. And those are my invention. They're over at tinyundies.com. But yeah, you could totally and should wrap up when you feel like it. And if you want help wrapping up, you can do it in the Go Diaper Free book. There's the optional hybrid plan, which is a mix of potty training and EC, or my tiny potty training book. Potty training experience at 15 months is totally fine, just to give it a really secure final ending. And then I also have a wrapping up EC mini course. You can find all that at godiaperfree.com. And they don't have to be able to climb up the potty steps. You're basically to put them on there until they can do it themselves, which won't be too much longer. Usually around 20 months old, they can do that themselves. I'm going to go check Instagram and see if we have any questions. One and only Yarm. Okay, hopefully I got your thing right. What if I never started early? She's 1 now and says no. She prefers a diaper. I don't know where to start. Okay, so if your child is 1 year old and you want to start 12 months old, you're basically going to start and wrap up at the same time. Get my Go Diaper Free book, and you will stop using diapers in the daytime pretty immediately. And you're going to use the optional hybrid plan if you need to give a more physical, hey, here's how you get to the potty and stuff. And if she says no, you're going to stop asking. Don't ask. And then she won't have the opportunity to say no. You're going to be matter of fact. Think about those Chinese, Indian, African women who are living in an intact culture. Are they asking their child if they need to go to the bathroom? No. At 1, the child's taking themselves. But at like 6 months, they are taking that child, point and shoot, putting them back to play. They don't talk about it at all. It's a very matter of fact thing. Let me see if there's other Instagram questions. Rosanna, I started EC when my baby was 8 days old and he's now 7 months old, only goes in the potty for the poop. I say celebrate that. That's amazing that you have a poop trained child at 7 months old. With the pees, I would just try the wake up pee and every diaper change. When your boy starts to walk, take off those daytime diapers. He will sync up with you. It is amazing how they rise to the occasion. And let's see if we got any others here. And yeah, the other thing for Yarm, don't wait for readiness. That's a BS thing from the diaper companies. That actually is not true. They just want to have you in diapers for longer. And yay. Oh, and Justin was on. Thanks for inspiring us to have Heal the World Week. You guys, if you need any CBD at all, Justin 4, the number 4 hemp is amazing. Has some amazing remedies. We're using that for my oldest who has Asperger's. Sweet to see you on here, bud. All right. Let's see if we got one more question at the end here, and then I'm going to stop the thing. Oh, I love seeing you guys here. I recognize a lot of your profiles. All right, last one. Ariana Jerka, 14 months old, willingly sits on the potty, will not go, goes 5 minutes after coming off the potty. So I have a podcast episode for you, and that's going to be episode 61. So go to godiaperfree.com/61, and it's called Peas 5 minutes later, what to do if this is you. I'm going to leave you with that one because that's going to help you a lot. And we also, in that case, you want to give privacy. You put them on it, on the big toilet with a toilet seat reducer, walk away, listen, and they will go. If they try to dive off, have something soft on there the first time. I'm not responsible. If you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. But usually they'll only try to dive off once, and they'll only try to dive off if you're right there. Oh, you're so welcome, Ariana. And I do see a couple more. I'm just going to keep answering a couple questions, and then I'm going to go to dinner. All right, 16-month-old, been using training pants for about 6 to 9 months. Just doesn't make a difference. Yeah, I would change from training pants. Who is this? I know I'm Ginger. I would stop using those and go commando. No underwear, no training pants, no nothing, just pants. And training pants, if they're using them as a diaper, then stop using them. Like if it doesn't make a difference, then stop using them. Switch to tiny undies even. These are mine in gray. It's just much thinner and it's a lot different from a diaper or training pant. Try commando for a couple weeks, then undies. That should work. All right. And so let's go back over here to YouTube. I've got one more question here and then I'm going to cut it and go to dinner because I'm starving. I'm starting to get hangry. Who else gets hangry? I totally get hangry. How do we potty on public toilets? I got your advice, Patet Plus, but it's gross having it touch the public toilet and their legs hanging and touching the public toilet too. What was that viral video I saw? It wasn't. It was Amber who used to do those crappy pictures. Is she still online? Crappypictures.com. Oh my gosh, she's so funny. Yes. Okay. She has the funniest one about toilet paper that I've ever seen. I'm going to see if I can. Oh, I can't find it. Anyway, it's just like you just put all of the toilet paper along the whole public toilet seat and then you put them on it and the toilet paper like flies off. That's kind of how it is without a Patet Plus. With the Patet Plus, yes, you're still going to have it touching the toilet. And here's what I do. I go into a toilet, into a restroom, public restroom. I will take toilet paper, a whole bunch of it, and wipe down the seat. And then I will unfold my Patet Plus and put it on top of there. And yes, their legs touch the public toilet. It won't be for long. So just do it because it's better than having to clean up a poopy diaper or a pee diaper, right? Or pants. And that's it. So you're just going to have, maybe put them in pants and only pull them down to just right above their knees. And then their legs aren't really touching the toilet. It's just their pants. Germs are not terrible. Germs are, they help build the immune system. And we definitely are a culture of germaphobes right now. I'm not saying you are one, but it's okay. And it's not going to, if you want to bring hand sanitizer and like wipe their legs down afterwards, that's fine. At 5 kids now, like, they drop something. I don't even have a 5-second rule. I have like a 5-minute rule these days. So I think that's also just me. But use the Patet Plus and maybe use pants or bring something that can protect them from touching that. But I always wipe down the toilet first. I just do. You can bring wet wipes with you and do it with that, or just use the toilet paper. And then worst case, you can just hold them over it and put, like, they've got shoes on, put their feet on the back of the toilet and hold them over it like it's a squatty potty. So that's cool too. You can do that. And you guys keep asking questions. Yeah. Oh, Amy Spence, you posted on both of them. Yay. Awesome. Little pants. Yep. Okay. And somebody put Peach. Hey, Peach. All right. That's it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop. You're so welcome, Amy. Awesome. You guys throw up some hearts. I don't know why that the powers that be love the hearts. Give some hearts up. And then I'm going to end the live stream. Thank you so much. I hope you learned something today. So we basically went over, and I'll repost these as podcasts soon. Baby plays with the potty and doesn't sit on it and doesn't use it. It's hard to find the right balance with EC in life and everything. Multitasking house chores with EC and having to focus, be 100% eyes on all time. It's exhausting, and I want me time too. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you loved this. Next week, we're going to do 4 more, so stay tuned. I'll try to give you some notice, but I'm kind of also, I was feeling it, last minute groove. So you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. And please visit godiaperfree.com for anything you need. And please download the Log, the new app, godiaperfree.com/app for Android or iTunes. If you don't love it, don't give it 4 stars or less. Just DM me and tell me your suggestions and we'll revise it. And then we'll give you an opportunity to give 5 stars because that's also how that algorithm works. Okay, cool. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you soon. Take care.